We have the details of all these and more in the next 1 hour. Do stay with us. Now, in our very first story, 193,882 candidates, representing 61.67% of all candidates who sat for the examinations, failed to obtain the minimum pass mark in the core 3 subjects required for admission into universities in the country. This means that out of the 315,621 candidates who sat for examination, 120,519, representing 38.33%, obtained A1 to C6 in all the core subjects. Candidates had to obtain A1 to C6 in 3 core subjects, namely mathematics, integrated science, and English language, to be considered for admission into universities in Ghana. The cutoff point for admission requirements of universities in the country is grade C6. The grades obtained by candidates in social studies were A1 to C6, that's 230,141, that's 73.27%, and D7 to E8, that's 46,464, that's 14.79%, while 37,494, that's 11.94%, obtained F9. A statement signed by Mrs. Agnes Taikujo, the head of public affairs of WAEC Ghana, said based on the provisional results, the A1 to C6 performance in social studies showed a 21.02% improvement over that of 2017. So those are the results, the provisional results of the West African examination. And we are joined on the line by Dr. Prince Ama, who is a lecturer at the University of Education, Winneba, and also the founder for Institute of Education Studies. Good afternoon to you, Dr. Ama.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to your cherished viewers.
Very well, thank you. Now, this quote-unquote failure we are seeing in the core subjects, that's maths, science, and English. You have been looking at the numbers for a long time, year on. Did you envisage this?
Well, thanks very much. I think that we must find a way, as a matter of priority, to stop misinterpreting the WASSCE result.
Right.
WASSCE is a matriculation and university entrance examination. And before the inception of WASSCE, we had A-level. If we were to look at the results at the time, you would come to an understanding that our students are doing absolutely better than previously. Let me run through a few data for us to just have an appreciation of what we are having, and then see how we can improve even better what we have. In 1999, out of the 57,816 students who wrote WASSCE, only 5.79% passed, got a qualifying grade to go to university, and they represent 3,352. In the year 2000, out of the 60,000 plus who wrote the examination, only 7.6% got the qualifying grade, and they represent around 4,600. In 2001, out of 63,395 students who wrote the exams, only 6.31% passed the exams.
So your point is that
the point making is that we look at the results. Until 2009, we were getting single percentage. I mean, in terms of the number of students sitting the exams, and now we are doing over 39% of our students getting the qualifying grade. Now, let me explain this. The senior secondary school exams, WASSCE, as I've said, is originally meant to select very few people who have the aptitude to go and do university program. And so it is unlikely to have a large number of people getting the qualifying grade. That is not to say that they have failed. If you look at the result, from A1 to E8 is a pass. However, due to facilities and due to some constraints with the university system, they have decided that they accept A1 to C6. That doesn't mean that our students haven't done well.
Dr. Ama, so for those candidates who now cannot enter into the universities, what are the options available to them?
Thank you very much. So what is important for us as a country is to go back into our policy document and look at the purpose of secondary school again. We have said that there are 3 options after completing secondary school. It's a terminal point for someone to enter the world of work. It's an entry point for somebody to go to technical vocational training and skills development. And it's also an entry point for university. But because over the years, we have curtailed opportunity, impeded access or limited access for people to enter to the other sectors. I mean, technical vocational, and then also to the world of work. Everybody's attention has gone to the university system. I think that anybody who is unable to go to university is academically weak.
Now, so some have also made the argument that, for instance, if you take people who want to do humanities and do not do too well in the maths, is it fair that they would be dropped and will not gain admission into the universities?
Well, I think that this is a discussion that the ministry is having, and that's now their consideration to look at other options other than the mathematics. I think this is a combination that the Ministry of Education can have a conversation with WAEC or with the universities who decide which qualifying grade they should accept. But I think that by and large, we must look at opportunities for our young people all over the world. The developed countries that we want to be like, there are many opportunities for people who cannot enter the university system. There are 300, and as you have said, 316,999 students sat for these exams. And they came from over 900,000 secondary schools. We have less than 220 university or polytechnics or tertiary institutions. We don't have the assets. And therefore, it means that even if we had everybody getting a qualifying grade, we have access issues. So there has to be a deliberate intervention by government and the Ministry of Education, to be specific, in terms of providing opportunities for people who can do things with their hands, the skill development. And that's what we should be looking at.
Definitely. So in your view, technical education is key for us to move forward in this. Thank you very much, Dr. Prince Ama, who is the founder for Institute for Education Studies. As away from that, residents of some 30 communities in the Seche East district of Ashanti region say their socio-economic livelihoods are threatened due to the poor roads in the area. According to them, the 23-kilometer Efidiase-Tetekasu road linking the Seche East to other districts has become unmotorable. A report by Benjamin Edu and Rachel Odami.
The predominantly farming communities complain roads in the area have deteriorated, making it difficult to cart farm produce to market centers. Transporting pregnant women and other health emergency cases had also turned a nightmare. Opportunities to attract investors in the area have also been impeded by the poor roads. A taxi driver, Bismakose, says some commercial transport operators have quit the business due to the frequent breakdown of vehicles and high cost of maintenance. The poor roads have also affected education. The road has been awarded on contracts, but the construction firm is yet to commence work.
When it rains heavily, people cannot move. The road become unmotorable. The bridges and then the normal gutter school have been started with, of which will pave way for normal movement of vehicles. But we are not seeing these things.
The district chief executive, Mary Boateng, assured residents of government's commitment to rehabilitate roads in the district. Meanwhile, work has begun on the Efidiase town roads.
So let's still stay in the Ashanti region. A collapsed bridge at Shuba has cut off residents from parts of the Kumasi metropolis and surrounding communities. Now, residents say the situation has increased their travel time and transport fares. We are joined by our Ashanti regional correspondent.
This bridge that we are standing on links Truba, a community within the Kwabri East Municipal Assembly, to Buokrom Estate and other parts of the Kumasi metropolis. About 2 weeks ago, a heavy downpour led to the total collapse of this bridge. So for now, both sides of the community are cut off. They cannot use this bridge to Truba, whilst those in Truba cannot also use it to go to Buokrom Estate and Quarry. I have two residents here who will be sharing with us how they are able to move about with the collapse of this bridge. Me pacho bra bridge no say I say no e kwan ben na makonya bem esiaye.
Okay, say am e kwan na bem ayedin e free kan fadua ase asan ya ba adwuma ti free adwuma asan ya ba ti say amaka scan kra akosoro kakra ti esrema we de e esrema mo na mo boy na munyama nti say kurun de ayedin pa.
Okase mokas kana kosra first no nanka kwan ni dem no ukokroma obebo kasen na say aye say na moko di awanwan no so mobo kasen
1 cedi 80 pesos but they say na me say try unta 2 cedi 50 pesos ti esrema mo ay kakra na yembe nyari mfro ni kwan ya ban nye mre kakra mai.
I also have another man here who is a mason. We just saw him offloading his bricks from an Abobo yard truck, that is a tricycle, to one side, and then he's cutting them by his hands to the other side. A commercial van is also turning back because it cannot use this bridge. Yehusa watching o blocks no every Abobo yemu egu bridge no etifi. Now sisadia ko etifi. How ben sa na dia ba mo a moti Truba na
how about how Cassia pa about to a Kwabri district here because said the bridge next year Bua Hano. A many pay good man term higher sofa pa ma, see a quanya bemoyading. It is Rabbi say. Okay,
so this is what some of the residents are saying. They are saying that their traveling time has exceeded the normal time that they would normally travel, and aside that also the expenses involved has also increased. For instance, if this bridge had not collapsed, they would spend like 1 cedi 80 pesos to move from Truba to Quarry, but now because they have to commute through Kenyasi and Diase, they have to spend about 2 cedis 50 pesos. Fortunately, I have the municipal chief executive with me, Nana Osei Esibe Bonsu. Nana, what are you doing about this bridge?
We received a report from the community about the damage of this bridge, so we are here to see things for ourselves. We already put in an application to FIDARUS to help us to reconstruct this route so that traveling from both communities and people also pass here through Truba to Kenya and another part of the district. So we put in an application and we are hoping that FIDARUS will help us to reconstruct this route.
Okay. This happened about 2 weeks ago and you've been here to assess the situation. You can see the extent of damage and the inconveniences that it is causing for the residents between Truba and Quarry Estate. How soon would you say that you push for something to be done for them?
We'll meet FIDARUS again. We'll send information, reports and everything to them to enable them to come and help us to finish the route as soon as possible.
So that is the municipal chief executive for Kwabri East, who is also adding his voice for the FIDARUS to also come in and inspect the extent of damage done here at Truba. Beatrice Fiogabra, TV3 News, Truba.
And back here in Accra on the La Paz stretch of the George Bush Walker Highway is a sprawling night market. Petty traders and hawkers, mostly women, have virtually taken over the pedestrian walkway. A report by Grace Hamwa Asari.
Clanging of bells, soothing voices calling on passerbys to buy, sign languages and many more constitute traders' advertisement here. From dusk to dawn, business here is brisk. If you forgot to buy anything during the day, the La Paz night market is the best alternative. All kinds of goods are displayed here, regardless of the danger posed to traders and road users.
I am aware of the dangers of the trade, but we pray to God for protection from accidents and any form of death.
Another issue was the breach in the Metropolitan Assembly's bylaw of selling on pavements. For most of these traders, business is good and convenient.
They are buying, but because of the time limit, we don't really have the full time to sell it. So the few times that we have, we are trying. They are buying small.
We come to sell at night in order to escape disruption from the Metropolitan Task Force. Business, I would say, is good at night.
Patrons are busy in the day, so after work in the evening, that is when they come to buy. We have wife and children to cater for, and if we don't make enough sales in the day, we continue at night to make enough profit.
The story was not different from patrons. The convenience of being able to buy even at night keeps them coming.
They do come in the night, so when they come that way, most of the times when they come, their things are affordable, so we do come to buy as an advantage.
I live around La Paz, so I buy my clothes here. For example, like what I'm wearing, it's La Paz made. The top is 2 cedis and the skirt is 20 cedis.
Because of our busy schedules, you go to work in the morning, close as late as 5, so you won't get time to buy.
It's 10 p.m. and the scene here at the La Paz Namiche N1 highway can be likened to any market day. There's brisk business activity going on, irrespective of the time. For both sellers and buyers, the catchword is convenience, as they are not pressured because of the scorching sun or because they need to go to work and meet any target. Obviously, business is good for these people. Reporting from the La Paz N1 highway, Grace Hamwa-Sari, TV3, Accra.
Now from the streets, let's head over to Parliament, where the minority is speaking on the state of the economy. And so the minority in Parliament says the current state of the economy threatens the fiscal credibility gained by the current administration. Now addressing a roundtable discussion with civil society organizations, the Trades Union Congress and other relevant bodies to dialogue on the economic performance in the first half of the year, minority spokesperson on finance, KCL Atuforsen, said the fiscal pressure is mounting due to the increasing public debt. There are fears government may increase taxes in its mid-year budget review, despite assurances of shifting focus of economic management on taxation to production while in opposition. Now this, the minority is saying, is contrary to what the NPP promised while in opposition.
We do not overlook the need for GRA to raise more taxes or tax revenues through improved performance and in line with the nation, in line with the Ghana's middle income status. However, since increase in tax revenue always lag behind recoveries in economies, care is needed not to put pressure on households and businesses to meet unrealistic promises made to the electorate that in the case of increasing expenditures. Now we want to sound a warning to the government. We are saying beware, fiscal pressures are mounting. The fiscal pressures are mounting on the state, and the government should beware. The evidence seems to suggest that the fiscal credibility is being compromised. Regarding government expenditure, the background is clear. The large fiscal slippages are being created by the government. Inability to raise additional revenues to meet unrealistic promises that are increasing expenditure. The projected deficit of target of 4.5% of GDP would be missed due to a huge deviation in revenue and expenditure and the financial sector related cost of about 4.5 billion. Aside the fact that the government is accumulating arrests and sweeping them under the carpet, I'm sure the contractors here are very worried. Arrests are mounting. Government doesn't want to talk about it. And arrests are supposed to be paid, and they are not paying it. And it's important that we also stress that the government has already decided to cut an amount of 850 million on already certain sectors of the economy. So we expect again that the government will cut additional expenditures of 850 million. So the arrests can only continue to be mounted.
So it isn't just the minority that is speaking on the economy. Now, the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has hinted on government's plans to introduce new tax policies in the mid-year budget review scheduled to be read in Parliament on Thursday. And ahead of that Parliament session, Noor Falong finds out from the public what they think about new taxes.
The mid-year budget review comes off Thursday, July 19. There's anxiety because some government officials have hinted of a possible increase in value-added tax. Today on What Do You Think? Will Ghanaians support an upward revision in VAT? What do you think?
I disagree with that. I didn't support the idea because it's going to create further hardships on Ghanaians.
Well, I think we should be able to make use of what we are having now than just increasing it at any point in time. Because other than that, if we are not seeing any outcome from what we are having now, what shows they are not going to increase it again?
Yeah, I don't support it because if you look at the way things are going now, it's very difficult for people to, even make ends meet. And so if we are going the long way to increase value-added tax, you even stifle a lot of businesses.
If
the VAT comes down, it will be used purposefully well for our infrastructure development. Our health sector will benefit good things. I don't have any issue with it. I think it will be better.
And the system that we are now, we are everywhere for itself, only God. So we don't think of them again. So we are in like that. No matter today when they increase petrol, they do any theater they do, we are in. That's how we are living now.
And now to our MTN video report for today. Our citizen journalist Roland Yeboah highlights the flood issue at Sagnarigo Kukul in Tamale in the northern region.
This is Ronald Yeboah reporting from Tamale. This is some of the issues that befall Sanargo district in Tamale. Sanargo Kuku, it has just rained and you can imagine the hectic time people have to occur in order to cross to the main road. Just within a 30 minutes rainfall and the whole road is flooded. So we plead and call upon any philanthropist or the MP of Sanargo Kuku district to come and take a good look and help us out with the road.
Thank you very much, Roland. You can also send your video reports via our WhatsApp platform 055-1433-044. This is Media Live on TV3. Don't go away. Welcome back. Porters at Ekumfi or Tabanaze in the central region are requesting support to scale up production. The women say they need a kiln and other basic equipment to help them in their work. A report by Ajwadobia Owusu.
Otabanaze in the Ekumfi district is one of central region's poorest communities, notable for its poultry production and agriculture. In almost every home at Otabanaze, one is bound to find pots beautifully displayed on shirts or wooden tablets as part of the pottery making process. In 1995, the Ghana International Women's Club put up a center to assist the women promote their business. It is in this building, which has now been converted into a church hall, that I find 79-year-old Auntie Ekwa Buakwa, who has been in the pottery business for 40 years.
I do this from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day and only take a break at 2 p.m. just to have some rest.
Even though they have machines here,
all these ones are broken down and they need support to be able to get the machines running. She says she earns about 2,000 Ghana cedis monthly from the sale of 200 cedis worth of clay. According to her, several attempts to restore the center for its original purpose have failed. Joseph Amano, who used to work at the workshop, set up his own business after realizing how lucrative the job is. An opinion leader in the Otabnade community, Nana Amemu Ando, says they have tried unsuccessfully to get support from the district assembly.
We need help. We use stick and bamboo to light fire, but it's difficult to get this now. We now need a kiln to ease the effort of the women.
The Akumfit District Chief Executive Bernard Bright Grant said plans are underway to get experts to assist the women upgrade their skills to enable them produce for both the local and international market.
It's something that I'm doing with very serious commitment, because if we don't do that, our people there will continue to wallow in poverty. In less than 2 weeks, my officers will go out, group them, interact with them, and see how best we can automate their system and also give them the necessary guidelines.
The women said they would forever be grateful if they receive the needed support.
Back in Accra, wholesale egg traders say the outbreak of the avian influenza disease, that's bird flu, has not affected their sales. They attributed the shortage of eggs to the Islamic religious festival celebrated last month.
The Ministry of Food and Agriculture last week confirmed the outbreak of the deadly H5N1 virus in the Ashanti and Eastern regions, which resulted in the killing of 11,816 birds. Affected farms had been quarantined to prevent the virus from spreading. The Veterinary Services Department of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture gave assurance it has taken full measures to contain the situation. Sewa Adomako, a wholesale egg trader, says the outbreak of the disease has not affected her business.
Now the business is down. We talk to our farmers, they complain about the maize. So they have added some money to the eggs. If it was 12, now it's 13. Because of the price, the customers too are complaining, so they don't come for the eggs. Now it's low.
She said though the business is profitable, she has been making losses due to the shortage of eggs on the market.
At this time, you don't get it. You go to bank for loan, because when it breaks, you won't get anything. So the banks won't give you anything. You won't get anything from it. Now that you don't have eggs, when you go and buy more, you get profit. But you don't have money for that, so you won't get anything.
The ministry has assured the public that chicken and egg on the market or in the supermarkets are safe for consumption.
And still on the poultry business, despite the Ministry of Food and Agriculture's policy to reduce chicken importation to promote the local poultry industry, farmers say the challenges persist. They contend incurring losses as consumers choose cheap frozen chicken on the market over local broilers.
Interested in producing broilers because they are not competitive with imported ones in terms of pricing. It is estimated that over 135,000 metric tons of frozen chicken were imported from the European zone in 2017, a figure that represented 76% increase over the 2016 imports. In March this year, government announced that it has reduced the importation of frozen chicken to the barest minimum, and that import permits had been withheld in the bid to support the struggling local poultry industry. Augustine Amankwa, a poultry farmer at Oyarifa, says he's yet to feel the impact of government's move, if there have ever been a move.
Imported chicken, the kilo price is a little bit lower than the local one because of our feed inputs. Our production cost is too high, so that the moment we raise one particular broiler, the price is higher than the imported one. So it's a problem to us.
He said the cost of feed increases the cost of chicken production. for the local poultry farmer.
Now we have a problem with the maize. Maize prices have gone out, and maize is about 50% of our inputs. And then if the moment the maize price raises up, it means your cost of production will raise. A lot of people have empty cages, poultry pen, and then maybe they have money to raise the bird. But our problem is marketing. So if government means that they mean well, that they have reduced the importation of frozen chicken, I know we can fill the gap.
TV3 Business's visit to cold stores in the city revealed the business of retailing frozen chicken is thriving as ever before.
It depends on weekend. You say about getting to 40-50 cartons. Yes. The 85 ones from Holland, the 65 ones from US, and that the 82 and 2 is from US. His name is Muntel. If you see the top, the red Muntel. And this, the one at the top is chicken back. That one from Holland, and the carton is 55. This one is Coach. That's from US. This one is 55.
Are people buying?
Oh, they are buying. Because the chicken or food products, so they are buying. They are buying.
Augustina Mankwa believes the poultry business is profitable and can help solve the unemployment situation in the country if government will give it the needed support.
And that's all for business this afternoon. Let's look at some more stories. The Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana is calling for concerted efforts to rid the markets of unregistered and unapproved products. The president of the association, Benjamin Butchie, threw the challenge at the graduation of the first batch of doctor in pharmacy students at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi. A report by Benjamin Edu.
President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, Benjamin Butchie, expressed concern about the rampant abuse of high-strength products, especially in major cities. He said the perception of good feeling that led to the abuse and misuse of tramadol could lead to long-term consequences which are detrimental to public health.
Abuse and misuse of opioids and various narcotics is now a global problem. What we have done as a pharmaceutical society is to get into serious education of the communities in general through various media. A lot of confiscations have been made and products destroyed.
The Faculty of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences of the College of Health Sciences is the first pharmacy school in the country which has over the years trained about 95% of pharmacists. The college graduated 142 students in the first batch of Doctor of Pharmacy program. The 4-year program of pharmacy has been replaced with the 6-year Doctor of Pharmacy program, considering global trends in contemporary pharmacy education and practice. President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana noted the change in training from medicine-centered to a patient-centered one will help meet the requirements of modern healthcare delivery.
Pharmacists' focus worldwide is changing towards what the patient benefits from the knowledge of the pharmacist, and this is what has brought us thus far. And being accessible to patients, people who would counsel patients on their medication and their medication use in general.
Provost of the College of Health Sciences, Professor Yawedu Sakodie, said the role of pharmacists in public health and disease prevention cannot be overemphasized.
The community pharmacist is an asset to health promotion and prevention. These contemporary and emerging roles of pharmacists dictated that in our usual pioneering role, KNUST in the 2012-13 academic year, after several years of preparatory work, heeded the call to align the training of pharmacists to current trends in pharmacy practice.
The KNUST is the only institution in Ghana to run the Doctor of Pharmacy program.
Commercial washroom business is gradually becoming one of the lucrative businesses at Ashaiman in the Greater Accra region. Whilst patrons talk of its convenience to them, operators are also cashing in big to serve as a source of livelihood. Margaret Oduro has the rest of the story.
Ashaiman is one of the busiest cities in the capital with a population of about 2,000. Residents here are mainly into buying and selling. The bathroom is situated at the center of the busy Ashaiman Old Tulaku, providing access for people to have their bath at any time. A place of convenience for residents here is a major challenge, with most resolving to bathing outside their homes. Philip, an operator, has been running this bathroom for close to 2 years. He decided to take advantage to create a business, realizing the lack of bathrooms in homes.
We have so many bathrooms here, and so it depends on the time the patron comes. And with our sales, it keeps on changing. We sometimes get 120 cedis daily.
What motivated me to go into this business was I was a caretaker for someone. I was able to gather a little money, about 6,000, start this business. The shower and the urinal will even give you 70 to 80 cedi maybe in a day. That means you are watching close to 80 people who drawn to this place. It's a nice venture.
At 5 Friday morning, when the business team got to the area, residents had already queued, ready to take turns to bath.
Let's now look at some issues in fuel prices, as the Institute of Energy Security is predicting an increase in fuel prices this month. The institute cites the recent increment in the price of crude on the world market and the rate of depreciation of the Ghana cedi as a basis for its forecast. The energy think tank, however, says the plight of consumers can be mitigated if the National Petroleum Authority activates the price stabilization and recovery levy mechanism. The price of gasoline and gas oil on the international market have an increment of some 4.58%. That is for gas oil, then gasoline at 2.29% increment. You're watching Media Live on TV3. When we return, we have sports. Xylophone Media has dismissed speculation that it would terminate the contract of the assignees after 1 year. Communication Director Arnold Asamoah Beidu noted that every contract with its signees has its own terms and conditions, but were subjected to review.
The Communication Director of Xylophone Media, Arnold Asamoah Beidu, explained there were different contracts with each of the artists on the label, which comprises the number of years and the number of albums that the label and artists have to produce. He gave a hint of a review the work of every individual artist on the label to determine the duration of each contract.
As a viable business entity, what we do is we also do review our procedures, we review our mechanisms, we also review our vision, objectives and all. And so it has come to that time where we also need to review the contract of the artist. There's been talk about the fact that the label wants to reduce the duration or the years from 4 to 1, from 4 to 2. Yes, I mean there's some iota of truth in that speculation. But with time, the label would come out and officially declare that duration for artist A's contract has been reduced.
The Communication Director said the company would not put any pressure on any of its signees.
Shout out to man Gringo. Yes, Gringo, Ringo. Wow.
Xylophone Media is one of the biggest record labels in West Africa, with two of Ghana's finest dancehall artists, Shatta Wale and Stonebwoy.
Remember the thing where we do just between me and you, mommy, da, me, then that. In the Dodgy Avenger, girl, promise me say you surrender.
And that's all for Midday Live for today. But before we go, let's look at the top stories once more. Minority members of Parliament chastise government on the current state of the economy. More than 120,000 candidates representing 38.33% of candidates who sat for this year's West Africa School Certificate Examination cannot gain admission to university. And on the foreign front, President Trump blames U.S. politicians on ties with Russia ahead of his first ever summit with counterpart Vladimir Putin. Well, for more on these, you can go to 3news.com. My name is Efua Tiku. Have a lovely afternoon.